There we go. Hi, everyone. As usual, my name is Will Critchlow, founder and CEO at SearchPilot, and coming to you on our live stream, regular Tuesday slot, typically either this time on a Tuesday or this time on a Friday. It's about 4:15 p.m. UK time, which is 11:15 a.m. on the East Coast, 8:15 a.m. on the West Coast. If you're watching this later, you can follow me on Twitter or LinkedIn, where I'm at Will Critchlow, or follow SearchPilot on YouTube to get notifications when I go live in the future, as well as head to searchpilot.com/live for resources, useful links, more information about what SearchPilot does, how SEO testing works, and ways to sign up for our email list and various other resources that you might find useful, including some of our customer stories. And there's also a form there where you can register for a demo and a conversation with our team if you're interested in that kind of thing. Thank you for joining me. Slightly different topic this week. I've been, over the last few weeks, spending a lot of time thinking about how leadership and executives and P&L owners make decisions in businesses, how they think about the organic search channel, and how all this stuff kind of hangs together. And I wanted to return back to a more practitioner kind of conversation this week. So we're going to be talking about specific tests that it's possible to run, showing some things in action from the SearchPilot capabilities, and talking a little bit about SEO jobs, actually, and how to get your career further ahead. But before we get to that, I wanted to talk a bit about making the car go faster, which might seem like a slightly odd topic. I'm going to pull up my screen share as I talk here. And this is all based on, so I'm not at all a motorsport fan, but context background is that we were in a meeting on, when was it? I think it was Thursday last week. And we were talking about SearchPilot's own marketing. And we were talking with an agency that we work with called Articulate Marketing, who built our website and did various other bits and pieces for us. And the founder there, a guy called Matthew, was talking about, he's also not a Formula One fan, but he loved this saying of about making the car go faster. And it's from this book. Interestingly, they seem to have, in the Google Books transcription, turned it into make the car go faster, but it's make the car go faster. And it's from this book called Performance at the Limit, Business Lessons from Formula One Motor Racing. Don't know if I can recommend that book or not. I'm, as I say, not into Formula One, but this concept I'm really enjoying. So this is from Sir Frank Williams of Williams F1 fame. And he was apparently renowned for asking this question in response to anything that the team brought him. So he's being asked to make a decision or sign off on something. And his constant refrain was, will it make the car go faster? And the way to get him to sign off on anything was to be able to answer yes to that question, of course. And I'd never heard Sir Frank talk. In my head, when I heard this phrase, I had him in mind as this very kind of gruff Yorkshireman. Will it make the car go faster? I've since looked him up, and he didn't sound like that at all. So never mind. Anyway, I've got that in my head. I've got this kind of gruff Yorkshireman asking you if this is really a problem that they should be spending money on. But the lesson here, obviously, I think, is around tying initiatives to the vision and to the mission, and particularly as a mission-driven thing. So, what's the point of a Formula One team? Well, it's to win Formula One races and ultimately championships. And in order to do that, they want to make the car go faster. Right? And I love the slight oversimplification here, because obviously they need reliability. They need the ability to show up week in, week out, not to crash. All these different things that aren't just raw speed. They are, in a sense, encapsulated in speed. If you take the question in its broadest sense of, make the car go faster across all races this season, across all seasons, etc. But it's so simple, and it's such a brilliant device that I think it's all the kind of thing that can almost become an internal meme. Most of us are not in motor racing, but it's still a kind of question to ask. You'd be asked to spend money. Well, will it make the car go faster? And the lesson that I was taking from it specifically, firstly, I should be better at asking this question from a SearchPilot concept, not about the car. But specifically for today's talk, where I really wanted to focus in on the SEO practitioners in the audience. So if your job titles, SEO manager, analyst, executive, head of SEO, those kinds of roles, tie your asks to the mission. Show how what you're asking for helps the car go faster. And that's basically it in a nutshell. But I think there's layers we can peel back here, because sometimes that's easy. And we talk a lot at SearchPilot about when we're setting sales goals, for example. It's very much the sales team at the sharp pointy end of that goal, and their goal might just be the sales goal. But there's all kinds of things that the whole organization can do to support that objective, whether it's getting great leads in the door from a marketing perspective, whether it's getting great results for our existing customers in customer success, whether it's building a phenomenal product that is easy to sell, that gets those great results, that gets us the customer stories. And you can see how this kind of builds up in layers. And even the support functions, people ops, for example, is about getting the right people on the team and supporting and developing the team that we have and retaining the team that we have so that they can get all of those other results that I was just talking about. And it's very, very important, I think, for not only for our career development, but also for our day-to-day enjoyment and our sense of purpose, to be able to connect that work that we're doing. It's 10:30 a.m. on a Tuesday, it's raining. Why are you working? What is the thing you're working on? You need to be able to tie that to something bigger, some kind of objective. And I think this is the method for doing that. And I always love that story. It's probably apocryphal, but it's a very silly story, really, of somebody visiting NASA and seeing a janitor sweeping the floor of one of the massive hangars and getting into conversation with him about what he was doing. And the janitor saying, "I'm putting a man on the moon." That everybody has their part to play in that organization. And I think it's too easy to stop at the first order effect. And I think partly when they tell this anecdote about Frank Williams, I kind of suspect that, this is why I was saying it in that kind of Yorkshire voice, I kind of suspect that the lesson that we're perhaps supposed to take away from this is it's a way of saying no to anything that isn't basically engineering or driving. I think that would be the wrong lesson for most organizations. The right lesson is, how can you connect the initiative to the mission? And that could be anything from a Christmas party to rebrand to who knows, all these things that we might spend money on. Piece of software. If you can't, you have to be able to tell that story of how it makes the car go faster. And it should make the car go faster, because in a mission-driven organization, that's the point. So this is what I've been kind of pondering on, and I intend to probably terrorize my team a little bit with how will this make the car go faster. But I'd encourage you, if you're in that boat of asking for sign off on initiatives and doing new things, certainly ask yourself this question: does this thing that I'm pitching make the car go faster? And then try presenting it in that way in order to make the car go faster. Obviously, swap in your mission here. In order to make the car go faster, I would like to X. Another angle on a similar kind of thing is about asking explicitly of your boss which problems they'd be willing to spend money to solve right now. This concept of budgets has been around. We've been trying to set up some budget systems in SearchPilot and avoid me being a bottleneck or our COO being a bottleneck on signing off on things. And it's quite hard to conceptualize all the different purposes that you might use a budget for. A budget can be a limit, it can be a forecast, it can be a scenario, it can be just a communication tool. And I think the number of times when organizations actually are capable of spending money that is not in a budget right now is shockingly high. And those can be shockingly large sums of money depending on how high up the org you can go. And so there are probably some problems that are on your boss's desk right now that are important enough that they would spend extra money on those things. And the third piece of this triangle is you need to be able to answer that question of what are the things that you could put extra budget or extra effort into that would drive meaningful results for the business. And I banged on about this, I think, last week and the week before, of when I talk to practitioners, it's one of the more unfortunate things that I see is when they don't have a good answer to that, or don't have any answer necessarily to that question. If I gave you an extra, however many $100 million, hundreds of thousands of dollars probably, what would you spend it on to drive meaningful results for the business? And meaningful results for the business means making the car go faster for whatever your mission might be. And I think there's a lot of businesses, a lot of websites where that is a genuinely difficult question to answer. And in past consulting life, trying to come up with those strategies would be a big part of it. What I'm seeing these days is, especially in our core industries, e-commerce, travel, those kind of large websites with an obvious revenue imperative where they make their money online. Experimentation program and higher test cadence, more tests run in a time period and improving the win rate. These are things that I would invest in. And obviously I'm putting my money where my mouth is on that. But that's why we're building SearchPilot, because I think this is a thing that can drive incremental capabilities for those kind of organizations. Another conversation I had this week that drove me to want to talk about on this stream was about somebody saying, oh yeah, I've heard of this SEO testing thing. It's mainly about title tags, isn't it? And that was a misconception that I wanted to start to correct. It's obviously a mistake in our messaging and our positioning and marketing if we've let that idea take hold. The truth is, titles can be an incredibly effective tool for change. They are one of the most influential, probably the most influential pieces of HTML in an SEO context, because they affect both ranking and click-through rate in the search results. And there's very few elements that do that. They're also a powerful ranking factor, and some of our biggest wins, biggest losses, and probably most consistent, statistically significant results have come from title tests. So they are important, and you should run those tests. And we need to remember that it's not that long ago that improving, iterating, experimenting on writing better paid search ads was a huge part of the job of a paid search advertiser. It's no surprise that we can get a lot of mileage out of improving the organic search ad, as I like to think of it, the snippet that appears in the search results, because oftentimes these things have been ignored or underinvested. And so we definitely should do that, but it's not the only thing. So I want to show you a cool new bit of the SearchPilot website, actually. So we've got this new resources section, which we're quite excited. It's just launched, so that we're still smoothing off some slightly rough edges. But the idea is that this combines our blog posts, our articles, as a place where you can also find our videos, our presentations. And we were just finding it a little bit hard to show those to people recently. So this is just some of our recent featured content, and we can link out to external links even. This is a YouTube link, for example. And you can see our PDF content, our video content, our presentations, and I'm enjoying this. But one of the other things you can do is you can, just reset this down here, you can filter to specific things you want to see. For example, SEO test results, which is very cool. And in context with the idea that it's not just titles, so titles would come under meta, but you can also look at the other things. So you can, we're running tests across all of this and more. So for example, content tests, upgrading, enhancing, removing, moving, generating content. All of these things are valid tests and interesting hypotheses. And we've got tons of them. So these are content tests. We've got schema tests, which is particularly about structured data and allowing, mostly the hypotheses here are about improving that search snippet. So getting rich results in the search results and so forth. You could have a ranking hypothesis. I think in general, what we're more often seeing is that these are click-through rate hypotheses. And at the moment, we've got them sorted here by most popular, but you can switch to latest as well if you like. But I think most popular is good for these purposes. And this one in particular, what's the better kind of structured markup? It's one of the most popular pages on our site. So yeah, performance with site speed, internal linking is an interesting one where we these are some of the more complicated tests to run. And I've done whole sessions on why that is and how you can run them. The very short version being internal linking tests are important, crucially important. Links are still a big part of the algorithm and the way that authority and reputation flows through the website. And these are the ones that you control completely. These are your internal links on your website, so you get to choose what they look like. The challenge for running the tests is that adding links to a page or removing links from a page affects both that page and the page that you are linking to. And so it's a bit more complicated, but we've got content about how to do that if you're interested. We've got tons of those. And you can also filter by the result of the tests. And so the key point that I wanted to really emphasize is the kinds of tests that we're running are not just titles and meta information. It can be anything about the page. So this is really any on-page hypothesis, whether it's content, page structure, HTML, whether it's internal linking, whether it's schema and structured markup and so forth. And it's really very broad. And so we'll come on to what that I think means for jobs in a minute. But the key thing I just want to really emphasize is if by talking about how important titles are, we've kind of misled anyone into thinking that's all that SEO testing is, then it's absolutely not. It's much broader and much more interesting to my mind than that. So go and check out our resources section. You can get into it in any of these links take you to the appropriate bits, and then you can do your own filtering and choose the kind of resource that you want to see as well. Check it out. Send me feedback. I'm very easy to find. My DMs are open on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm at Will Critchlow in both places, and yeah, I'd love to hear your ideas. While I'm at it, it's been a few weeks since I've done anything on these live calls where I've actually shown you the SearchPilot platform in action. So I thought, why not? Let's do something live today. So this is not a customer site. This is just an example demo site, and I've set it up just to work on a single page just for here, which is not obviously how we would run a you know what, the website I want to demo on is not working at the moment, so we'll come back to that another day. But yeah, moving on into what we're working on in a broader sense. So I showed some of the ways that we're running these different tests, and maybe I can show this. One second. Yeah, I think I can. Okay, here we go. So yeah, I've set this up to show on a, as I say, a demo environment. This is not a customer of SearchPilot at the moment, and it's missing breadcrumbs. So it's got this product name in both places, but missing the structure that goes with this. And I've just set this rule up already, but I just wanted to show that the simplicity of turning this kind of stuff on and off. This is setting up as a global rule. To run it as a test, we would just simply move it into the test section. And what I've done here with turning this rule on is just add the breadcrumbs to the page. And this is the simplest version you can imagine. And it will be easy to drive this off a dynamic list and upload. And when we come in and we refresh the example page, you can see that set of breadcrumbs has appeared straight away. And that's the idea behind what we're doing, is to be able to show that kind of speed and agility. And first, it lets us make those changes, but secondly, it lets us run those things as tests and roll out that change just to a subset of the pages. And we'll get deeper into that. If you want to know more about how the kind of testing works, head to searchpilot.com/live for more information about SEO testing, as well as some of the results, so some of the customer stories. So I said the other thing I want to talk about is about your SEO jobs, SEO careers. One of the things that we're working at SearchPilot is trying to be really the best possible place in the world to do, particularly on-site and technical SEO. And I would extend that a little bit more broadly. It's not just at SearchPilot. We're actually that our kind of vision is that we're doing this not only for our team but also for our customers. And if you're on the SEO team at any of our customers where SearchPilot is implemented, you get all these benefits as well. So it's not just about the SearchPilot team, but it's about anywhere that has the ability to use the SearchPilot platform. And this is a framework that we've been talking about and putting together. Is in order to be the best place to do on-site SEO, a few things need to be true. Obviously, it needs to be a good working environment in all the kind of normal ways. And I was talking earlier about connecting your work to the mission of the company. And I mean, obviously, at SearchPilot, it's deeply connected to the mission, where we're on a mission to prove the value of SEO for the world's biggest websites. I say obviously. I think it's obvious, but I need to consistently, continually be joining those dots for every single member of our team. And we do that through a simple framework where we talk about the contributions that individuals are making to their team's goals and how those team's goals contribute to the company's goals and ultimately to the mission. And I'm a really big fan of the framework that talks about autonomy, mastery, and purpose as being the big ways that you can drive meaning and value from your career and your work. And the idea being that autonomy is about having the space to think and drive your own solutions to the problem. So you're not just being told what to do every minute of every day, you're being given the objective and have some freedom in how you achieve that. Mastery is the flip side, which is being good at doing that. So having the ability to grow, to learn, to develop, to stay curious, and to really master your craft. And the purpose is that final piece that I started on, of joining your work up to the meaning and the goal of what you're trying to do. And that is just some kind of concept of a shared mission. And I think one of the things that's really important and often misunderstood is when people talk about purpose, it's very easy to think that that has to be a high-minded purpose, that has to be saving lives or working in a charity or any of those kinds of things. And my experience is that actually isn't true for driving meaning and purpose from your work. You can see this in the purpose that exists in a sports team, for example, where the goal is to win a championship, or in a lot of personal projects where the goal is to achieve an objective. You want to run a marathon, or you want to whatever. Those things they're not that high-minded kind of thing. And actually, awkwardly, my experience with speaking to a lot of my friends is that actually, unfortunately, the high-minded places are often not great places to work, precisely because lives are on the line, and screw-ups are so dramatic. And without getting too deep and philosophical in it, I think there is something about keeping in perspective the fact that certainly for myself, and I'm guessing for most people listening, a bad day at work is someone quitting, losing a customer, not winning a deal. It's not, I messed up and in the emergency room or in the operating theatre or whatever it might be. Anyway, back to the point is autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And purpose is this shared goal. It doesn't have to be saving lives. It could be a sports goal. It could be whatever. In a company context, it's about deciding on that shared objective. And so this is in service to that at SearchPilot. There's not the primary goal, but part of our vision is that we can lead the way to creating great jobs for a diverse group of people in a high-performing technology business. And that one piece of doing that, obviously we have on our team engineers, we have salespeople, marketing people, but we have a large professional services team. And we actually have jobs available right now. So if you check out searchpilot.com/jobs, there's some jobs open in the UK and the US for folks to join that professional services team. And I think we have this best place to do on-site and technical SEO right now. And the reason is this diagram, because to really get all the pieces joined together, I think we do a pretty decent job of autonomy, and I've been talking about how we drive that purpose. But the mastery piece To get better at your job, you need to be able to have the opportunity to come up with ideas, hypotheses, things that you think will improve. You have to be able to get them done. And crucially, and this is the piece that is missing far too often if you're working agency side or even in-house, is to be able to measure the impact of that work that you're doing. And if you're missing any one of these pieces, you're going to be struggling to learn to develop that mastery that is a crucial pillar of having enjoyment in your job and success in your career. And I think some folks miss the implementing part, that they just can't get things done. Some folks miss the measuring part. And at SearchPilot, working in that professional services team, you're not just working on a single website, you're getting to work across tons of great brands, getting things done based on your ideas, your hypotheses, your diagnoses of technical issues. And this yellow circle is the crucial part. You get that feedback loop, you get to know if it worked. And that means you get credit and you get visibility and you get satisfaction of a job well done. And it's become something of a meme in the SEO community to talk about how it depends. And I kind of hate that. And I guess our mission is directly at odds with this. And we've been toying with this idea of a recruitment campaign of come somewhere where it doesn't depend. But that really is how we feel about it, how we think about it. And to wrap up for today, I think what I've been trying to articulate recently is this idea that we're kind of operating at multiple levels. So what we're offering at SearchPilot is to the SEO practitioners, to the folks that we work with directly, our points of contact at our customers, we're offering that ability to discover, prove, and get credit for those great ideas, as well as learn what doesn't work and iterate quickly and improve that speed of learning. So we're selling the uplift charts is what we sell to the points of contact. To the managers, we're offering the ability to have a dashboard where you can have some accountability, transparency, and drive higher performance and better results by tying individual initiatives, individual things that you do to their business results. You get to see the outcome and the effect of those changes. And the thing that we all of us, I think, need to hold in mind is that all of this is in service to making the car go faster. And that's ultimately what we're trying to achieve across the board. So I hope you've enjoyed joining me in this little bit of a random ramble down the motorsport F1 into SEO and jobs noodling. But I'm definitely enjoying this idea of thinking more and more, how do we stay focused? How do we have a whole organization that is focused on the big picture and the big purpose? And yeah, I'm just loving that question. So how are you going to make the car go faster? Take care.